in need of a validation. Yeah.
You ain't with the news on the block.
Get down. Let me clear my throat. Yeah. Oh, that's better. That's better. Somebody pass around the offering. Since I'm always preaching on tracks, you feel me? I'm out here getting paid for it. Sermon of the day. You right where you supposed to be, baby. Informants informing, that information forming. Important you get a portion of fortune pouring. Confession, fortunately, blessings on now they snoring. You mellow, so focused on scoring. Got you underperforming. I never expect something, never assume nothing. Judging me for my past, but that's why I'm triumphant. I don't demand, I know where I stand like engineer hands. Watch how my life pans. Put that game plan. Show out like a jotter, pop out like a cutter. Telling the quick rock, skipping the course, squares like hopscotch. This gonna be my mood to my beat drop. Putting my boogie shoes in my diddy boots. Hey, don't stop. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life.
Hey family, happy Thursday everybody. How y'all doing? How you doing? How you doing? I hope your week is going well. It is the beginning of September. Can you believe it? The whole summer is gone. I hope yours was better than mine. I don't think I went not near a place this entire summer. No, I didn't. Vacation is so important. I encourage you all to take one. So good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Thursday night with me, your girl, Lady Dawn B on the Bravo with Sheila Network. We love you. Give yourselves a bravo on tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Encourage you guys to like, to subscribe, and to share. Sharing is caring. And because we care, we're going to share. All right, it's good to see everyone in the building on tonight. As always, we welcome you. I hope your week has been amazing. Again, can you believe it? It is the first week of September, and we are it's the 5th day. Time is just flying by. So you better take advantage of every opportunity you get every day above ground. Is the blessing. Y'all pray for me tonight, okay? My throat is scratchy. My allergies are calming down, but we got some stuff happening up in here. These, it's happening up in the sinus areas. All right. But anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm excited about this month. For the month of September, we are going to be having a great conversation. I hope you've enjoyed the last 8 months of Thursday night with Lady Dawn B here on the Bravo with Sheila Network, because I have surely enjoyed this year with you. I am looking forward to what 2025 is going to bring. But first, we got to finish wrapping up this year. So, as always, pay homage and give appreciation to the curator of this amazing space, who is none other than, I call her my Auntie Bravo. She is in the person of Pastor Sheila Ingram, who is the Queen Bee over here on the Bravo with Sheila Network. Auntie, I appreciate you. We salute you tonight. Thank you for yielding me this captain's chair one more Thursday so that I can spend some time with the good folks that tap into our network. It is a blessing and a joy. So over here on the Bravo with Sheila Network, I always say this, so just want to put a few disclaimers and house rules out in the beginning before we get into our conversation. While we are not a Christian network, okay, so we respect, appreciate, and honor everyone's feelings, opinions, thoughts, and we just simply ask that you would do the same. Be respectful of everyone's feelings, opinions, and thoughts. We are not a Christian station, although most of the people who are on this platform are believers. However, again, we are not a Christian network, so we welcome everyone's thoughts, feelings, opinions. We respect them, whatever your moral compass is. And we encourage you and invite you to engage in the conversation in the chat. Okay, just be respectful and mindful of one another. We are here to have real talk with real resolutions, not to convict one another, not to convince one another, but just to have a good time in conversation. Y'all know we keep it real over here, especially on Thursday nights. Things go left at 8:30. It turns into Lady Dawn B after dark. If we're still on at the time. Yeah, that's the hour. But anyway, as I said, we just want to be respectful of everyone's moral compass. As for me, I'm a believer. I'm a God's girl. So you always gonna get a little Jesus when you get me. So I appreciate you all and welcome everyone to this space. I'm going to ask if you wouldn't mind to like, subscribe, and share. Invite a friend. Just hit that little like button, that little thumbs up if you could. We would appreciate it so very much. It helps us for our numbers to go up. It helps the algorithm. It helps us grow this network. And if you really want to be a great supporter, we have Super Chat. So you can always purchase a Super Chat, make a donation through Super Chat. We appreciate it. We look forward to staying in this space and bringing you great content and awesome conversation. So on tonight, it is the beginning of fall. Wait, I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. If you are, I want to invite you also to tune in and join us on Monday nights for my podcasting partners, my coach Pache and Dr. Elaine. They are on Monday nights right here at 7 p.m. with Mondays Beyond the Mic, another great space full of great conversation and content. We all just trying to get along. That's what all this communication is about. Finding ways to better ourselves and communicate with each other. So we appreciate each of you. So join us on Monday nights at 7 p.m. And if you are looking for some motivation, some encouragement, some spiritual guidance, you can go right across the street. Can't miss it. I promise you. It's right across the street. Right over across the street to the Sheila Ingram Ministries Network. Over there, we have Pastor Sheila. We have my mom, who is literally my mom. She pushed me out. Pastor Rosa. We have Reverend Jenny. And these women are on sharing great words. I'm going to go across the street soon, too. Y'all going to see me soon over there. I promise. But you'll find great word, great encouragement through the word, through worship, through meditation over the word. They break down the different books. They have the Women of Grace. It's usually on Fridays at 11 a.m. I don't know if they're back when they break yet, but they break down the women of the Bible in ways that, it's just amazing conversation. Pastor Sheila is always sharing something good over there, and Reverend Jenny is on as well. And over here, we have Pastor Sheila on. Listen, you have to like, subscribe, and share because you don't want to miss anything, because she pops on and off and she drops her gems, okay? And you don't want to miss the opportunity to pick them up. So I hope you will do us a favor again. Like, subscribe, and share. Please just hit that like button one time. It is free 99, as she says. So with that being said, let me holler at some people. I see we have the greatest moderator to ever do it in these YouTube streets. Lady Ine Kenya is in the building, as always, on her post. And we thank you. Hey, Ine, so glad to see you. So glad to see you. I know a few people are running a little late. It's been that kind of day. But I'm so glad that whenever you guys get here, we will be here. And my girl, my sis, Disciple Spencer, the traveler extraordinaire. Listen, I see you, sis, doing your thing. She is in the house. Hey, Disciple Spencer, good evening. Thank you for tuning in, sis. She says, good evening, everyone. Yes. It is good to see you, Mama. And for those who are in the expensive seats in the silent section, you don't want to come down to the comments. We greet you as well. I do invite you to come down and to join us in the comment section. It is safe down here. I promise we have security. So you are fine. So pop on down, say hello. Let us greet you properly and get into this good conversation. Oh, and I see my girl, my bestie in the NC right now. Lady Elaine Edwards is in the building. It's good to see you, bestie. Thank you for hopping on and joining. I ain't going to talk about you, but I'm going to talk about you. She started out with me a while ago, and then she abandoned me. But, I still love her. That's what friends are for, right? That's what we do. But I'm glad to see each and every one of you. Thank you for popping on. Elaine, it's good to see you, Mama. So, guys, on tonight, usually the first Thursday of the month is the ladies' room. So we are in the building with the ladies on tonight. Like I said, it's been a long day for most of us. And I know it has been for me. It has been a long week. So today is one of the longest weeks that I've had in a while. Yes, today. Today is a long week. It is. So, but we're here now. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to get on. And I want to thank everyone for just being here. Before September, we are going to have a great conversation. We're going to have this, we're going to talk this topic out all month long. Excuse me, in different spaces. We're going to have the Men of the Men's Lounge talking about it. We're going to have an open dialogue talking about it. I'm going to get a panel up here talking about this. I'm going to try to get our love, marriage, and ministry team up here talking about it because we have all been there. Now, like I said, y'all, it is September and the summertime is over. But now fall is here. And what? We know winter's coming. And what does that mean? That means cuffing season is coming. So we want to have some good conversation to get y'all prepared so you don't get caught up in the okie doke, okay? Don't find yourself caught up in the okie doke for the winter. Don't do it. Don't do it. So our topic for this month is single in September. This is a time of the season where a lot of people start to find themselves. I don't know if people get depressed or sad because you may be alone. But we want to share on tonight for a underthought that singleness is not a disease. It's not a disease being single. And marriage is not a cure. But being single is an opportune time for us to work on us, right? Right. The better I am for me, the better I'm going to be for those around me. So with that being said, we are going to talk about it. Disciple Spencer says, love the topic. Yes, ma'am. Because it's real. It is really real. So some of the ladies are going to be jumping on in a little bit. If you're running late, but I see Dr. ND is in the house. Y'all know her. Y'all love her. She is here. I'm going to bring her on up and we are going to begin this conversation. And when the other ladies come on, they're going to be in the midst of it too. So again, if you don't mind, take a moment to like, to subscribe, and to share. Please and thank you, ma'am and sir. Hey sis, how you doing tonight?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mama.
Oh, okay, good. Good evening. I'm well. I am well. I'm
Good.
doing all right.
All right.
Taking my eagle down. Let me see. I'm just gonna take my eagle down.
You're gonna take your eagle down. All right. You could probably turn your volume up just a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
It's better.
All right. Just,
Disciple Spencer says, hey Doc.
hey, darling. How are you?
We got Dr. ND in the house on tonight. And so again, our topic for this whole entire month, and you're gonna see a mixed crowd all month. I just asked our team on Thursday night, team, listen, whenever you free, come on, pop on, drop in, share. It's because we're gonna help some people, some single people, because in the fall is the prep for winter. And this is the season where a lot of people who are single are looking to get comfortable and comfy and cozy. So us cuddly fluffies, such as myself, us cuddly fluffy people got to be extra careful because people are looking for a warm body to be next to in this particular season. But there's a serious note to what I'm saying too. Being single and being prepared for what is next. Again, singleness is not a disease. We treat it like something is missing sometimes. We get, when you are single, you are compared to, well, why aren't you married yet? Marriage is not the end goal for everybody. And it's not a cure for singleness. Because again, singleness is not a disease. So before we jump into the conversation, I want to give Dr. ND some space to come on and share what you think about this topic on tonight.
Well, you already know singleness is the ministry that I'm assigned to in this season.
Mm-hmm.
So it is very close to my heart. It is definitely something that I am always looking at. I'm watching, I'm listening to conversations. I'm watching how people are moving. I'm watching how church folks are being. So it is very much a very important part of the dynamics of who I am in this season. I welcome the uncomfortable conversations, the conversations that the saved saints ain't trying to have, but it's sending everybody to heaven.
That
That, yeah, that whole part. The conversations where there are people who are struggling even now. And as a matter of fact, I was just having a conversation last night with my son, when we were talking about the Jezebel spirit, and we were talking about church and abuse. And it just so happens today a thing came up on my feed from the House of Pain, but the lady is telling Ella that her husband has been abusing her for years, but he's a pillar in the church community, and that no one would believe her if she was to tell them that he had been beating on her. And I think that sometimes that there's a, that particular dynamic of the fear of being single again, and what single looks like, the
yeah.
fear of being in a situation that's not conducive for you, and just picking up any old type of stray and trying to make them a house animal is a problem.
Mm.
Um, I'm gonna just hold my mule, on that, because I can kind of go any which way with that, and most folks don't want to have. Um, are not ready for the conversation. We talk about us wanting to have the conversation, and I see that there's these group of people that are going all over talking to singles, and they got sellout arenas, and kudos to them. But we need to be real with the real, um,
Right.
because there is a whole community out there that are not going to attend those sessions because some of them haven't lived long enough to tell me nothing. They can't even tell me what the year the paint on the wall is. So you definitely can't tell me how to navigate life in this culture that I am not a part of. I live in it, but I'm not a part of. So I think that we need to, it's time to pull the mask off. It's time to take the cover off the mirror. It's time to step out and say what the real reality of it is. And everyone has an opinion. But in the truth of the matter, there's only one opinion that matters, and that is that of God.
Amen. And I agree. And as we said before, while we are believers, so that is where our moral compass is. But wherever yours rests, that's what you have to find peace with and use to guide you. And I love everything that you said. There are so many conversations and spaces about singleness. Like you said, from people, a lot of us are just running, looking. A lot of people who are single, we tend to run to whatever's hottest at the moment, as if this conference is going to have all the answers. And when I leave here, it's going to give me the cure and the tools I need to not be single anymore. And I think that that is one of the worst perspectives that we can have. I think that the angle from these single conferences should be about teaching people how to be whole in being single. Because even when you get into a relationship, if you don't have two whole people together, you're going to have a whole hot or broken mess, and like you said, with the show you were watching, the clip that you saw, there is a real fear of people being single again. So we do tend to make those choices just to have something and someone next to us. And we compromise. I find that in singleness, sometimes we compromise so much because we get tired and we get discouraged with what is happening and what's going on in our lives. And I just want us to be encouraged tonight to know that there's nothing wrong with you being single. Is everything right with it? And that's right, Disciple Spencer. That's right. The fluffy queens have to be careful out there. That's right. Us fluffy people, we got to be careful because, we soft and we cuddly and we warm. And cuffing season is a serious thing, okay? It's for real and for real. Don't get caught up in the okie doke, y'all, all right? Like, subscribe, and share. We are starting this conversation, Single in September. Singleness is not a disease, and marriage is not a cure. All right. Hashtag cuffing season is approaching. So Oh, I saw Lady Deshawn. She was there for a second and now she disappeared. I hope she's coming back. Um, but we want to continue in this great conversation. Now, Dr. ND, you also said that single, when you said singleness, single is your ministry right now. I know you deal, I love your conference that you do about singleness, about being single. You did it, was it last year?
I did it in 20, yeah, it was last year I did it. Last year, June, I did it. June, July, I did it. Can you see me? I don't know what's happening with my thing.
I can see you, but you're frozen. I think everybody's having some technical difficulties on tonight. I think it's the weather all over. She dropped off for a second, so she's trying to get it back. Up there she goes. So we're gonna bring her right back up. Little
Yeah.
commercial break. There you go.
All right, there I go. So yes, I did the conference in 2023. And I'm actually going to do it again in 2025 next year. It was called the If I Can Be Honest
Yes,
conference.
that was the name. I was like, I was trying to get it together. I want to jack it up
If I Can
because
Be Honest.
people are not honest about their real feelings in being single because we're so busy trying to hide it from people how we really feel and the struggles that we're going through. So share with us. I want to bring up Lady Deshawn before she disappears again. Hey sis, welcome to tonight's conversation in the ladies' room. How you doing, Deshawn? We see you.
Hey y'all. I'm
Hey.
having some internet problems. It's a Dawn show.
It
Internet
seems
problems over here. So I
it
went out
seems
and
to
came
be
back in. Hopefully y'all
seems to
can
be
hear me. It's a
we
little
can hear you. It seems to be happening all around. So we gonna just work with it on tonight. That's all right. If somebody drop off, they coming back. Don't worry. But come on, Dr. NZ, and I'm sorry, finish telling us about your conference, if I can be honest. Because one thing that I love about Dr. ND is that it's no fluff. My sis really gets down to the nitty gritty of what is like the real truth of what we really walk through and live through day by day. She really gets to the places and the points about the even the desires. One thing that we don't want to talk about is how we are have to curb our sexual appetites. Even we can't act like we dead because you're single, and sometimes we don't act like we dead in our singleness, but we don't want to admit we still have feelings and desires and things. So she really gets down to the core of being single so you can be whole. So come on and share a little bit with us about that before we get further in a conversation.
So if I can be honest was came about one day I was kind of in the house by myself and I said, Lord, if I could be honest with you, I desire marriage, but I don't know if I'm ready for that right now. There's some things I kind of want to accomplish and do before I get married. Um, and in that moment, little did I know that a simple conversation, a simple statement would turn into an entire movement. Little did I know. Because it was one of those things where we talk about singleness and then I kind of assessed it and I do see some things with singles and all of a sudden I see all of a sudden there are people that are, I'm going to say, connected, that wasn't saying nothing now all of a sudden has, all of a sudden now they have a whole bunch of conversation for single people. um, but the conversation that I know that I'm having is one that is going to make the church folks clutch their pearls, grab their little dollies and run out of the church. The men are going to loosen up their ties and run out of the building because the truth of the matter is we think that being married is the answer, and then we think, as you said, being single is a curse, or we think that being single is gives us the right to do whatever we want to do, and then being married makes us lose the sense of who we are. And
Right.
so we have to figure out there has to be a medium that allows us to live on both ends of the spectrum. I am happy being single, and not because I don't want somebody, but I'm learning who I am because you change, and as you change, your requirements change, your desires change, the goals
Yeah.
that you have change, the perspective on life that you have changes. And I love God, but the church can't dictate to me about how I'm supposed to be in how I'm supposed to be and how I'm supposed to move. And I see in the church that we don't give, we celebrate our women, we celebrate them with the baby shower, but we throw them out when we find out that they're pregnant.
Mm.
And we still honor those that are in leadership. Like he's still mister, he's still deacon, he can still serve, but she done been ostracized and put out the church, a holler and all kinds of things. But she
Yeah.
didn't sleep by herself. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that we don't have those conversations because everybody was something. So now that you're an apostle and a prophet and a pastor, now you trying to live holy. When you was downstairs in the church, in the church basin with the little girl getting a little feel on in between Sunday school and regular service. You still that dude who you can preach and hoop on time, but you done ran through all the women in the church and everybody think they're gonna be the next first lady or the first whatever you want to call her, and then you wind up marrying somebody else. Or you are that dude where you really want to be, you really are trying to live for the Lord, and every time you turn around, somebody's trying to give you their breast to feed you as breast milk because they think you're thirsty. But this is not the conversation that folks want to have. we
And
don't we
that is
don't
true.
counsel people, and we're not honest as leaders and say, I don't know how to speak to that issue, let me find someone who can help you. Let me
Right.
point you in the direction to someone who can help you navigate that, where you don't feel that you're gonna bust hell wide open because you're not living. I love the Lord, but I also love sex too. I tell you, I'm not
Come
ready
on.
for this
Come
conversation.
on.
I love the Lord, but I love sex too. And ain't nobody said to me, girl, was and it wasn't even about the sin, it was about the value of my own life, of the value of how I was supposed to see myself and how I equated myself. Nobody said, well, you telling me I'm gonna bust hell open, but I'm living in hell right now because I don't know how to navigate this uncomfortable space, because you're not telling me that I need to learn how to love myself from a place that I didn't even know existed. You're not telling me how to navigate, how to be single, and how to still love God and be committed to God and learn how not to compromise and still serve God and set a standard where it's that a man will still respect me but doesn't have to get in my pants to get closer to me. We don't have those conversations, and we are not telling people that I got it. You're struggling with your sexuality. You're trying to figure out how to serve God and how to maintain, because the world is trying to tell you, well, you ain't nobody unless you got somebody. The
Right.
cost of living here in New York, you got to have another body to live in the house with you in order for you to be able to eat normal. So let me just live with you. And the question I want to know is how you in church all your life with the same dude. Y'all got 5 kids, 8 grandkids, and you still ain't married.
Well, you bring up a lot of good and major points and keys, um, and things that really do go on in the day to day. And the reality is, a lot of us, I'm not going to say all, some, but a lot of us have been in those very situations. A lot of us have had children out of wedlock and then got married to someone else who's not our child's other parent. So there was a time of singleness where we struggled with a lot of stuff. We had babies before, out of the order that God intended. And again, whatever your moral compass is, whatever governs or helps you guide and navigate your life's choices and decisions, you rest with that. For us, we are believers, so God is our reference. So just so that we're clear, and again, because we do respect everyone's feelings, thoughts, and opinions, but we are sharing from the space of our experience. So again, on tonight, um, as you know, people are having a lot of technical difficulties on tonight. Lady Deshawn will be back on. But we are talking about being single in September because winter is coming. Cuffing season is around the corner. And we want to help people understand that singleness is not a disease and marriage is not a cure. As Dr. ND was saying, you could very well be, and I'm sure that, many a pastor, people, counselors, therapists have counseled people who, yeah, you're married, but like you said, the hell that you're going through behind those closed doors, was it worth it for you in the long run, making a permanent decision because of a temporary situation? Because you were in your feelings about being single. It's a moment that's going to pass. Like, we've all been single and we've been married, and some of us are single again. I know I am. and some of us may want to get married again, but with the understanding, there's no rush to the altar. I learned to be good in my singleness. I learned how to get back to the core of Dawn, in my singleness, because when you decide that you want to link up with someone, I think a lot of times we start looking for people to fill our empty spaces, not understanding that the empty space is not meant for someone else to fill. No one is meant to complete you. They are meant to complement you. We are meant to complement each other. So we are busy looking for, our other half or our other self. Disciple Spencer says, me too, Lady D. Yep, listen, a lot of us are looking for that completeness in someone else. And that's why we're struggling with our singleness, because we don't understand that singleness is made for you to, it's time for you to take in order to become whole, so that you are two whole people coming together. Marriage is not going to fix your issues or fill your voids once you get together. If you have voids before y'all get together, you're still going to have those voids when you get together. And all you're going to do a lot of times is we either pacify each other with the voids in our lives, or we irritate each other with the voids in our lives. And either way, it causes friction. And you're wondering why years down the line, you are not satisfied, why you're not growing, why your relationship is not in the way in which you expect. Well, it's because you didn't come together as two whole people. We're coming together looking for someone else to fill what we should have been filling on our own. So the singleness is not the disease. The singleness is the time for you to get healthy and whole, because when you do, you will look for someone in a whole different way. You will look for a companion and someone to complement you, not someone to complete you. And that creates a whole different kind of vibe. I'm learning, and I now know the differences between loving and being in a relationship from a broken place versus now being whole and healed and all the way together, loving and being in relationship from a whole place. Because I'm not looking for you to do anything or be anything within me. I'm looking for you to cover and help to add to me, yes, as I add to you. But it's a whole different level, I find. Pache Felton says singleness is a ministry. It is. It really is. She says that's the time God is preparing. God is preparing you. He prepares you in your singleness. Yes, yes, and yes, he does. That's the time and space. Listen, whatever your moral compass is, but again, in this single space is when it's time for you to develop. And don't let anyone rush you through your singleness or make you feel like you are less than or missing something because of that. I'm going to bring up my Ken. I see Lady Ace is in the house on tonight. Hey, Anitra, welcome to the ladies' room. How you doing, my Ken? You muted, Mama.
Okay, I just noticed that.
There you go.
Good evening. How are you ladies doing?
Good. How are you?
I am yet alive and doing well.
Awesome, awesome. So glad you hopped on with us tonight.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you, birthday girl.
Right. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
It's my birthday. It was my birthday.
Somebody had mama visiting and all that. That's right.
She got spoiled.
I promise you I was in tears when she left because I was like, don't leave me.
Come on. I saw y'all getting your pastrami sandwiches.
Yeah, in the streets, boy. Woo, my Lord. But whatever she wants, she got. Her last night here, we was in City Island, so.
Oh, all right now. That's how you do it. That's how, come on, y'all wish Dr. Eddie a happy birthday in this chat. Like, subscribe, and share. Get in this good conversation on tonight. It is the ladies' room here on the Bravo with Sheila Network, and we are talking about being single in September. Listen, winter's coming. Cuffing season is approaching. Do not fall for the okie doke because singleness is not a disease and marriage is not the cure. Come on and share a little something, Anitra, on how you feeling about our topic on tonight.
Yeah, because I have an acronym for you.
All right.
Okay. All right. Let's hit an acronym. You can't
So,
just hold
so
that.
singleness is not a curse. It is really a blessing because you get to one see things from a different perspective. You get to search, you get to see, you get to savor opportunities that you could not if you were married. You get to investigate and identify the things that will make you feel good, and you get to see the things that might not be conducive for your growth. You get to navigate and understand what your needs are opposed to what your nots are. You also get to grow. And in the midst of that growth, there may be some pain, but there'll also be some high points. You also get to live because here's the opportunity to live. You get to do what you probably would never be able to do if you were married, and you get to evolve. And you can evolve because you never stay the same. Evolution is about growing and changing to meet the atmosphere that the climate. You know how you said things evolved in certain climate areas and things evolved in certain arenas. You get to evolve and to become something you never thought possible that you can become. So why would you think that singleness is a curse? Because how would you expect somebody to show up for you when you don't even know how to show up for yourself?
Oh, come on. That
Yes.
You
part.
can't put expectations on someone that you yourself have not put because I don't want nobody to put expectations on me that I know that I won't be able to meet. I'm not the ex, I'm not the was, I am who I am. And you have to allow me to be in that space, and I have to evolve, and I have to evolve so you can fit in my space, and you have to evolve so I can fit in your space, which then allows us to create a whole new space.
Come on.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Come on, Anitra.
I
Share some.
love
Listen, we
that.
just you just gotta let that rest let that breathe for.
I'm loving it because I'm kind of glad that we moved on to you to for you to express that the acronym, because that's how I felt. Like I have literally been married over half of my adult life, right? I was married for 24 years and I had been with him 25, 26 years. And I'm 50. So half of my life was spent with this person. And I've never been single. Since I started dating, I have
Wow.
always had somebody. And then married, I've always been with someone. I mean, with him this whole time. And the thing about it is, I am enjoying being single. I'm enjoying getting to know Anitra, the Anitra that it's not a wife, not the minister, not the mother, because I'm empty nester as well. I get to know who I am, the things that I like and what matters to me. And just like she said, I've evolved, and I know so much more about myself now that it makes it easier to, when I do meet someone, yep, we're not gonna work. It's easier to figure
From the
out
gate.
what you
From the gate.
what you can deal with and what you can't. And I love the fact that you talked about the topic tonight is being single is not a disease and marriage is not the cure, because come on, I know this is a platform for everybody, but church people, that's what we do. We want to marry off everybody. I don't care. They've been in the streets dipping and dodging, and you want to marry them off just so they can be married. And then who has the highest divorce rate? We do.
Church.
We do. So why is that? It's because we're missing this opportunity to get to know yourself, to evolve, to really become. We're saying we want to have the mind of Christ. Well, Christ was not married. So what was his mind like in his singleness as he was walking the earth? What was he like? What did he do? He wasn't jumping into no marriage. He wasn't married to anybody. So why is that?
Business.
Why do we feel like marriage is the ultimate goal when it's not? For believers, being Christ-like is the ultimate goal. And how am I going to do that if I don't even know who I am? Because I've taken on this role, you know, even when we talk about the Proverbs 31 woman, we take on that role. And all of that is not who we are.
Listen, we've been there.
Oh, y'all have been there already?
She had a quickening. That's how we quickening when we start talking about Boaz. That's
okay, what y'all say about Boaz? Because you know Boaz didn't live long.
no, we ain't gonna, because that's a whole nother show. We gonna have to do we gonna bring Boaz and Proverbs 31 women.
We talked about the Proverbs. Is Proverbs 4 woman? Proverbs 4? Was it? What was it?
It was
Yeah. So we kind of talked about the Proverbs 31 woman, and the thing about it is, none of us exude all of those characteristics. We may strive for them.
Pick a verse.
But pick a verse and master that verse so you can become another verse.
Right.
But everybody
you don't become another verse.
But everybody was it Proverbs 4 that we talked about?
It was I think it was Proverbs 4.
But everybody is a Proverbs 4. Like I was like, oh yeah, I'm still a Proverbs 4. I'm still hot. Like I'm a little thuggish and everything. Because some dude was on the YouTube and tried to come at me in the chat in the back, and I was like, bruh, the difference between me and you is I'm free in my stuff. Like I know there's no facade because I'm too old to lie. And I'm not gonna remember.
Right. Nobody.
Like I'm saying, once you pass 50, you don't got the memory to try to be lying because you're not gonna remember.
Like it's better anyway.
Right. Like, dude, I just like I don't like this and I don't like that. There's some things I'm willing to compromise on, but there's some things that is just like I'm not dealing with a grown dude and I go to a restaurant and he's eating with a spoon. Bruh, that's not going to work.
We not going to, you done made her tap. She going left now. She going left.
But that's all about singleness. Like, so we talk about singleness. We want to be, the church tells us to be a Proverbs 31 and a Proverbs 31 woman. And everybody talking about, all the preachers like, you got to find you a Proverbs 31 woman. But Negro, you're not even a Timothy 2 man. So let's talk about that for a second.
Okay. Well, there's that.
Right. But in all of that, like, I'm not saying that we cannot ascertain that. But in our singleness, we got to know what we can, what we cannot, what we will, and what we won't do.
Yeah. I definitely believe that.
There's a characteristic that goes with that Proverbs 31 woman. There's a certain mannerism that's attached to her. There's certain principles that are in place for her to exude those things. And if we are truly honest, and if we could talk about just the Black church, y'all know, ain't none of the sisters that we sit in church with, whether we visiting or we attend on a regular basis, is all of that. Y'all can say what you want to say, because I done ran up some of them pews and be like, girl, you don't even have the first 5 verses, let alone all 30.
You done set her off. You done set her off.
I didn't mean to set her off.
It's a whole nother, listen, we're going to have to do a whole nother, we're going to do a Proverbs 31 / versus Boaz. For the next verses, that's what we're gonna do. But for tonight, and Dr. Andy is right though. When it comes to the church, and again, everyone's moral compass, I told you, whatever it is, we respect it and we regard it. However, we are believers, so ours is God. So you're going to get some Jesus when you get us, plain and simple. But Dr. ND is correct. We are taught, that we're supposed to be this, that we're supposed to be that, and that, men, this is what you're supposed to look for. Right. And the truth of the matter is that for you to become that, whether you are a Proverbs 31 woman or, a Timothy man, whatever it is, you're doing that in your singleness. You have to do that before you get to the altar. There's some things that you cannot do in marriage. You have to have done the work before marriage. It cannot be, it will not develop properly in marriage. It will not have a good foundation within marriage. Some things we personally got to do before we get to that person. It qualifies us to be in the space for marriage. There are some things. And, indeed, and she does. Lord Jesus, let me read some comments and get my thought back. I'm going to read the comment or two. Hold on. Disciple Spencer says, this is my season to heal, to understand me, to take care of me and love me. Exactly. It's what are you doing with this time? Instead of watching the clock, you focus on the work. And you'll find that when you're focusing on, when you take your mind off of the time or how long you've been single or whatever it is, and put your mind on the work that you're doing, you will enjoy it a whole lot more. You won't even be worried about how long, you've been in this place or this space, because you will enjoy what it is that you are finding by having this time to do it and be it. We got Von Eric in the house. What's good? He says, blessings all. It's good to see you. He is a part of our men's lounge. Hopefully he will be up on the 19th with the rest of the men folk. We are so happy to see you, sir. We have Steve. Thank you, Steve Q, for joining us on tonight. Welcome. He says, hello, ladies. Thank you all for sharing all the views. Marriage is mystery to the man race, and so we must seek God's approval before we get together. But too often we allow so many things to, and then your word fell off. But that's true. Again, it is the mystery. The thing about marriage is too, a lot of us are frustrated in our singleness because we are looking at other people who are married, and we become envious of what we're seeing before us when we see them. What you don't realize is that you're seeing them for a particular space of time in a particular setting. You may only see them in church on Sundays or at church events, or you may only see them in, if y'all are on the bowling team or whatever it is, because everything is not church. But if you're on the bowling league and you see this couple who you find is so amazing and they seem so caring and so loving, you don't know. That's one moment in one space in one element. And we're admiring them off of a moment. But you don't know that when that moment is over, when you go home, what that day-to-day looks like. The real work that marriage takes. Marriage ain't for punks. It is not for the weak nor the faint at heart. It is not. It absolutely is not. And I used to tell myself that, and I fell for the foolishness. And I stopped talking to myself, telling myself that. And I wish I didn't, because I jacked myself up. I really did. I want to read something else. Pastor, our Monday night Beyond the Mic host says, no woman can be all of that. She's referring to Proverbs 31. It must be broken down, as we were saying. Absolutely. Pick a verse. Be it, ladies. Tonight is the ladies' room, so we're kind of coming from a lady's perspective, but we are speaking to everybody on tonight about being single in September. Singleness is not a disease. Marriage is not a cure. We are trying to encourage people to learn how to be whole and satisfied in your singleness before you get to the altar. Some people may decide that they're enjoying their singleness so much that they don't want to be disturbed by with a husband or a wife, and that's okay too. What I do want to add, when we're talking about the perspective from the church, I find, and I ask y'all to like, subscribe, and share on tonight. I find that the reason why people in churches are pushing other people to marriage, and this is Dawn. This is Lady Dawn B 101. Okay, don't blame nobody. This is me. Is because, number one, everybody is so focused on the sexual aspect of every relationship, if that is the only issue that we encounter as people. It is not the greatest. And when we're talking about the Bible, of being biblical, it is not the only premarital sex is not the only sin. It's not the greatest sin. There is no rank in sin. Sin is sin. period. It's all stinks. That's what it says in the nostrils of God. We put levels and numbers to it and make it the worst. And because we tend to emphasize what we fear the most. If you are a person that is not disciplined in that area and that's your struggle, a lot of times we are pushing people to get married because we could not abstain. We could not hold ourselves. We could not control us. But that doesn't mean that everybody else is. We also tend to use that scripture, it's better to marry than to burn, to try to encourage people. But guess what? You burning in marriage. You still do it. Either way. Because if your heart is the posture of your heart, we do a lot of things to make it look right to people, but the posture of our heart is not there. And until your heart is whole in your singleness, and I'm speaking from my experience, until your heart is whole in your singleness, you are going to be married and broken. And you bring your brokenness into that marriage. Marriage did not cure what was broken within me before I got married. A matter of fact, I took the brokenness that I had, and that's what pushed me to get married when I should not have gotten married. And then I got broken on top of being broken because I got divorced. And then that brokenness caused me to get married again, trying to fix the first brokenness that if I would have, and still got divorced again, which if I would have just been still long enough to let my heart heal, so my heart posture was right, I would have never made the choices that I did. And that's the truth. Being in ministry and being before people, and I was delivered from people a long time ago, so I could care less because y'all gonna talk no matter what. I could be pregnant. When I was married, you talked. When I was single, you talked. When I was pregnant, you talked. After having my baby, you talked. You still talking. Whether I'm preaching, you talking. Whether I'm singing, you talking. When I'm prayer, I'm teaching. Whatever it is, you gonna talk. I can't control your mouth.
Yeah.
All I can do is live my life the best I can and give you the subject. If you're gonna talk, you know what I'm saying? Let me give you what to talk about. Let me show you so you have something to talk about. Whether I'm single or not. Yep, you talk about how I did this or how I was married, how I was divorced, whatever that journey was, you talk about it. But guess what? You're also talking about my bounce back because I got up every time. I said something on a podcast. I said something on a podcast, on an interview with Prophetess Gore the other week. We were talking, and I said, what I've learned about the heart is the heart was built to bounce back.
Yes.
And I didn't realize that. It took me going through those different moments of singleness in order to understand. Let me read some comments because I feel myself getting ready to go somewhere too. Disciple Spencer says, people will show you what they want to see, but behind closed doors is another show. Exactly. And so now we're envying somebody's representatives of what their marriage looks like. They ain't gonna tell you that they just was cussing each other out or fussing at each other in the car through the parking lot. But when you got in the church and when you got in the bowling alley, because I've been there, say what now? Watch your voice. Like, you know what? I have to be like, Lord, I'm gonna put my anger on hold because I got to leave worship this morning. But as soon as church is over, I'm going right back. As soon as we get back in this car, bruh, listen. Picking it up. Don't think my worship did not calm me down for the day. It calmed me down for the 2 hours we in church. Me and you still got business. Ladies, Disciple Spencer says, Lady D, why are you telling my business? Girl, listen, I'm trying to help somebody on tonight. So I hope you all will like, subscribe, and share. We are in the ladies' room tonight, setting off September to my singleness in September. Cupping season is upon us. Singleness is not a disease. Marriage is not a cure. Come on, ladies, jump in.
So I want to say something that you had talked about when it came to marriage and single. And I think that part of the reason that I've realized and I've heard and quite, on Clubhouse, you go into these rooms and you listen. And one of the things I've realized is that I've heard a lot of people say, I've dealt with my stuff. I dealt with my stuff. I worked through my trauma. And I sit there and I cringe because the reality of it is you have not. Some folks are going to be mad at me about what I say.
It's all right.
But you already know how I feel. I'm gonna sleep well tonight because I'm gonna say what I gotta say and I'm going to bed because I ain't worried about it. Because the difference is that I will tell my business because I'm determined to live the best life possible in God and with God.
Mhm.
And that only comes from me being honest. And we live in a culture where people shun honesty.
True.
I'll tell you I wear a size 12 when I'm not being honest that it's really an 18. That part. We will sit here and we talk about the fact of being single, but we're not honest about the fact that we have issues. We have some insecurity issues. We have some self-esteem issues. We have some abandonment issues. We have some issues that we don't know how to resolve issues and circumstances. We don't know how to intellectually engage in a healthy conversation because we're accustomed to people always yelling, screaming, and cussing. And we figure that that's the way. And then we get saved. And we get so saved that we're drowning.
Oh, that's good. No balance.
We are super saved. We get in, and then everything that we once was now is demonic. Oh my! Well, let me not even go there because some folks don't even realize that everything that everything is you super deep. And you drown it in your own spirituality, and you're not even living in your own reality, expecting someone to take you someplace that you've never been because you can't exist in a space that you don't know how to breathe in. But we want this. We don't want to talk about the fact that we don't know what intimacy looks like. We don't know what being intimate is. We don't know what communication looks like, good communication or even corrective communication. We feel that every argument is always a bad argument, but there are some debates and arguments that are healthy because you can have a disagreement and it can be healthy. And both parties can walk away with a sense of revelation and respect and not be like, yo, I'm going to choke him. Or like, if I could just throw a pan at his head. Like none of those things. And we want a spouse, but we don't want to deal with the fact in our singleness, we don't want to take the time to look in the mirror because our mirrors are cracked. And we don't know who we're looking at because when a mirror is shattered, there are multiple pieces. And the only thing holding it together is a piece of paper on the back. Help me. So we're looking and we don't know who we're looking at. So we don't know who we need to identify with so we can become whole. And one of the things I'm hoping is that people start to face the reality like I don't have all the answers. But I'm going to work through what those answers might look like. And regardless of what the response is going to be, I'm prepared to do the work so the response can be different. Not for anybody else, but for me. Because you can't expect somebody to show up for you when you can't even show up for yourself.
Right. And when you do, how are you showing up for yourself?
So I think that the conversation of singleness and marriage, I think marriage is a wonderful thing when you have someone and you go into the marriage knowing that the person that you marry today is not going to be the same person 5 years from now.
Right. Because
life is going to happen. You marry him today. And y'all got roses and y'all singing Kumbaya and y'all playing, Ring Around the Rosies and tic-tac-toe. And then now, like 5 years into the marriage, he can't stand any of those games. And you don't even want to play them anymore because there's no challenge for you in this. But you forget that life happens. Death is going to come. Financial challenges may present themselves. You got children, just life within itself. And the dynamics of who you both are going to change to mold into a new person because of life circumstances. And if you're not prepared to do the work with all of these transitions, you'll never have a successful relationship with yourself or with anybody else. Because the first time change happened, you'll be like, well, I don't want to be in this marriage no more. All the nigga did was go 2 pant size. He's still the same dude. He just now wear 2 sizes bigger. Yeah, and that's nothing.
Yeah.
And if you care that much, then help him get back down to the size he was. But life happens. You
Yeah.
ain't got that hourglass figure. I don't care how many waist trainers you put on. You got a pouch in the front and the back. That's what it is. Like, pick which pouch you want to get rid of.
Pick a struggle. Pick a struggle. It's true. You have to leave room for flexibility.
Yes.
Is for those who don't, really is what she's saying. You have to be flexible. You have to leave room for growth and for change. And when you talk about doing the work, what I've come to find out is that in doing the work, it's dealing with my stuff and being real about my stuff is part of me doing the work. It's a major part of me doing the work for me. So I know what my temperament is. I know what my capacity is. I know what my struggles are. I know those things that are going to set me off. And I know those things that I'm willing to give and to bend. I know those places where I'm broken and I have to be mindful of. I know those places where, okay, this is still a little sensitive for me. So when I know that and I enter into the next relationship and life starts life and things start happening, I'm learning not to take flight. Because I was one of those people, like you're saying, the first time something happened, every argument is a bad argument. I didn't know how to recover from an argument. I was just like, first argument, like, bro, I'm done. I was like, all right, obviously we're not getting along. I'm not even playing with it. Like, I ain't even got time to go back for argument number 2. It's like, can we fix it? It is fixed. It's fixed because you're going your way. Don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. That's my son, y'all. That's my son. But it really was. I really was like, yo, I'm not doing it. Like, we had one argument and I'm done. And that was me. That wasn't that, because I did not know how to navigate through recovering from an argument, because I had never really seen that, in my own, when my parents were married. So I was emulating what I've seen, and I was like, I'm done. Because if this one argument, the next one's going to be like this or worse. I can't be doing this. I was like, my temper's too quick and my mouth is too sharp. So, like, let me just save us now. I'm out, but I had to learn how to stop being fight or flight and learn how to settle. And that would push me into being single and not learning how to manage my space with someone else, in a relationship. And you have to be able to manage. Disciple Spencer, you laughing at me, says, say, listen, I talk about the Runaway Bride. I was quick. Okay. Them Converse, all right, with these Nikes on my feet, be out, bro. We had one time, let a vibe change. But I had to learn how to, that in marriage, you have to deal with those, as Dr. Indy said earlier, those uncomfortable places. Sometimes we got to sit in it. Now I'm learning how to sit in it and walk my way through it. But had I not taken the time to deal with my stuff and be honest about my stuff in my single space, I wouldn't be able to do that now in relationship. Come on, Anitra, share. I got a couple of questions I want to ask the ladies, and I'm gonna give y'all the definition, because we're talking about being single in September. So my singleness is not a disease. Marriage is not a cure. Like, subscribe, and share. It is the ladies' room night. I love being with my sisters. I tell you, come on, Anitra.
I think now, this is. I don't have any regrets about my marriage or divorce. I don't have any regrets, because I think it really did shape me, and I've evolved into the person I am now. But one of the things that I realized is that how necessary and how important it is for you to spend time as single, alone. I even found myself like, it was last week, I found myself feeling like really lonely. Like, I was like, I'm lonely. I got my 2-year-old grandson and I'm lonely. And my immediate, response is sometimes, like, old friends, I would text them, hey, what you doing, whatever. But I stopped myself so I can sit in the place of being with me and being okay with being with me, not having to have companionship. What is that going to look like? And I remember praying, tell God, I don't want to jump into a relationship because I'm lonely, because I feel like I need, just some companionship. So for me, during the single time, it is a lot of learning who I am and being okay with me and not worrying about, I think even when you're in ministry, sometimes in a church setting, that it's even more so like you're supposed to be some kind of ministry power couple. So they want to go ahead and push you towards marriage. Oh, this person is single. Hey, this person. Yeah, but why are they single? I saw what happened in their last marriage, and I don't want to be a part of that. I'm not trying to be the next victim.
So
I don't want to be
not a victim. I ain't down with the victimization either. You can have that, bro.
Or I don't want to victimize them either. So learning, like you, I had to learn myself. And Dr. Indy is so real when she talked about the mirror, because the mirror is what I use for an example all the time, because I had to actually put a mirror up in my bathroom that I actually put up things that I thought about myself, things that were said about myself, and I put it on stickies, and then I would put the word that would combat it, would tell me who I am. And even I had even some prophecies that had been spoken over me. I put those up until the only thing I could see was what God sees in me. And it took it took like 2 years. And I mean, because God, I can only take it in small chunks of Benitra. I was like, don't show me all of her. Don't show me all of her.
Right, give me one at a time.
One at a time. But it's so much better now, because now I can communicate immediately when something that I don't feel like, we're having a communication issue, or accepting criticism. I could not accept criticism.
That's good.
Right. But I remember, okay, if it's coming out of a place of love, then it's really not criticism in a negative way. It's just something to help us grow. And we don't look at critique that way. We look at it in such a negative light, just like the word confrontation. I'm like, that's just coming forth. Confrontation is good, because you got to bring stuff out to deal with it. We don't want to deal with anything. And that's why we sit behind, we say, oh yeah, I've done my work. You may have done some work that you got some things healed, but the wholeness is what I want. I want it to be whole.
Yeah.
I don't want to just be healed. I want it to be whole. I want to be a whole Anitra and married, and then I'm in a relationship with whoever, and they're whole. I don't want a half man, and I don't want to give him a half woman.
No, and I don't want to give you the same old man. I don't want you to be the same old man. And I don't want the same old woman.
I don't want to grow, and even the flaws. I would say, these are certain things about me that even I noticed in dating that would come out of me that I didn't realize was still there. Just certain little things. But because I was aware of myself, I could now go, okay, wow. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I thought that was out, but not quite. But you can communicate then. But I remember I was dating this one person. I was telling them, this is how I feel. I was like, oh, okay, I'm starting to feel, because it resembles something in my past.
Right.
I know it's not you, but give me a minute.
Right. Let me breathe through
it so I can work through it. Yes. And you have to have somebody that be okay with giving you a minute to work through some stuff.
Right. And I'm with you.
Yeah. And I one thing I don't like for a person to say is tell me, so all women do, and all women, no, this is Anitra. You're dealing with Anitra. You're not dealing with all women. You're dealing with Anitra.
Don't group me, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm different. I'm built different. I'm not her.
I'm not her. And you go back and get healed because you still scarred. Okay.
Because with you, and I mean, and I know we compare situations because that's all we have is our experience.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, but I need you to see me in this situation, because I'm not showing up like the others did. I'm not showing up like that. I'm not responding to you like they did. My thing is don't test me to see if I'm like the others. Don't because when you have to do that, then you're not healed in that space. No, because we're all on a journey. And if I'm being willing to take it one step at a time and trust you through this process with me, I need you to take it easy, do the same thing through this journey, and trust me with you. And if we can't do that, then we don't need to be together in this space. But you are so right.
I love the word you said, trust. That's the big
and I've learned with trust sometimes people say trust takes time and trust has to be built, trust has to be earned. It's not. I'm like, truthfully, I'm not arguing that point, but I think trust has to be given.
Yes.
Because it's hard for someone. I want to say it's hard for someone to earn your trust, honestly, when it's transactional.
Yeah.
To me, that's not, it's not authentic trust. It's you trust me when I do this. And if I do this, then you trust me. But real trust, you have to take that. It's risky. It's not, it's not, where my child go? It's not just because he was, don't pay attention to the man behind the screen. He was gonna come say hi to y'all. Pache, our Monday night host, says that part. See me for who I am, not through the lens of your past experiences. Exactly. Because again, I have past experiences too. And I'm trying not to, and like you said and you realize that something in this situation with a different person is rubbing up some residue from something that happened before. And you're like, I need a minute because I don't want to respond to you like I did before. And that's growth.
That's him. You're not
right. That's what I said. You in dealing with your stuff, you got to be real about your stuff. And that's what I did. Disciple Spencer says you have to check yourself. You do. You have to be willing to check yourself. And sometimes we are the hardest person to talk to about ourselves is us. You got to be able to sit there and look, and none of us are 1,000% wonderful, although we are amazing. Because I tell anybody I am the dopest chick that I could possibly be. Okay,
and you are,
I compete with no one, but this chick, this Dawn, saying what? Every day I'm determined to be a better version of me. Now, I am not the best or better than anyone else, but every day I'm trying to show up as my total self, for as healed as I am today, and take those pauses. But I also check myself and be like, no, that ain't right. That's not, don't do that. Don't say that. Don't go there. And when you see me trying, or when we see each other trying, we have to be mindful, again, as Pache said, and as I was saying before, don't see me through the lens of your prior experiences, because you're sitting here you're waiting for me to resemble them. You're waiting for me to show up like they did, which means that you're still attached to that experience, and you have to find your way through healing. So yes, you have to check yourself. I'm going to go back for a second. Von Eric said, he was laughing, and son, Dr. ND said, I will not take Dr. ND shoe shopping, the size 18. Wow, still loves you, queen, being honest. She wasn't talking about her shoe size. I was like, what? I read this and I was like, I gotta put it up. She was talking about dress size. Women, we are not always as honest about the sizes that we wear. Like she said, you could be saying you wear a size 12. Most people don't know because we're all built, shaped differently. And when you really know that you are a size 18. Now, just as a precautionary sidebar measure, women, if you are an 18, do not do yourself a disservice and hurt yourself by trying to squeeze into a size 12. We are all gonna know. Don't do it. Embrace that 18, honey. Do it. Listen, I tell anybody I'm a size 24, 26 on a bad day. All right. And until that changes, it's just going to be the best of everything that you've ever seen in this space here. But what I will not do at this good age is be uncomfortable in my clothes and lie about myself. Either you are equipped to handle all of this greatness or you are not. Either you have the capacity.
Vaughn, I can't believe you thought I wore a size 18. That 18
That's funny.
What basketball player? What? She left the female the WNBA. She did. And when you meet Dr. ND, if you ever see her,
I thought you love me. You got me out here in these streets looking like gargantua. What is that?
This is single in September, only here on the Lady Dome on Thursday nights. Oh man, Von Eric is hollering. He said, I had to put that out there, make sure we
I know you miss me, Eric. I know you miss me. I know you miss me.
We gonna get everybody together before September is over. Bonner also said he was saying to Anitra, I have a couple of teddy bears at Anitra. I hold them sometimes when I'm lonely. When you were referring to something, you had technology that is your listen. I shared a couple of years ago, told somebody, when we have those lonely moments and we get in those spaces and we in our feelings and we start you start thinking, but you really shouldn't be thinking. I said, listen, you better go buy you a body pillow. That's get you a whole body pillow will save your life. It will be.
You trying to sound all saved? Let me just tell the truth.
No, I'm not. Okay, hold on. No. I'm not trying to sound saved at all. I'm keeping it real. What I'm trying to do.
A body pillow ain't gonna do it.
No, I know it's not. I'm just saying. He mentioned the teddy bear, so I'm just saying. I'm not trying to sound saved. I'm trying to help you from making a mistake that is going to change the trajectory of your next morning. Okay? Don't be fooled by it. Go for a walk if you need something warm. To get you a body, but get 19 of them if you have to. I don't care. Work it out, but don't go back.
No, I know. I said,
you do love me. Okay, I love you.
He said he do love you. He did.
I was like, somebody told me to. They told me to ask the Lord to take away you got to tell the Lord to take your desires away. And I said,
no. I'm so glad you said that. No.
I said, well, will he give it back? So I'm going. I said, no, that's a discipline issue. I cannot tell him to take away my desire.
That's like spiritual root canal. That's what they don't. I don't need you to kill the nerve. Is not the problem. I need the nerve. Take the tools.
Will I get it back?
Right. So let me say, I could say what I want to say, right? If I hear another woman talk about she married to God, I swear I'm gonna choke her.
No, I'm not.
I'm gonna choke her. I'm gonna choke her, especially somebody who's clergy. Stop it. You sound like an incest fool.
Listen, you could be married to God, but God is single. So that's the one side of it.
I'm not married to.
Right. Like can I say that again? Stop saying this loudly, because new Christians, let me say new believers is going to take on that language about I'm married to God. How if he's the father? Make it make sense, ma'am. How you married to the father? I'm just asking for a friend, because that's not even logical. How you go? I'm just asking how you married to the one that you call father. Oh, okay. And you call Jesus the son. So you sleeping with the father and you going against your brother. Make it make sense. I'm gonna need us to stop being so sanctified that we sound like fools. But let me go back to I got that off my chest. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You got it out.
You're welcome. All right. We have to let you get it off your chest, because I got about 2 questions I want to ask before we end.
One thing about that desire thing. Mm-hmm. Like, we gotta be honest. I never asked God to take away my desire. I asked God to help me to sustain, to make better choices. Mm-hmm. And one of the things is, and I've been saying for a minute, that the Lord brought back to me. He said to me one day, I need you to agree with the adversary quickly. And I wasn't sure why he said that to me at that moment, but it goes back to what we were talking about, feeling that urge and that need. Because I promise you, there was a couple of, it wasn't too long ago, Sister Body was talking to her in ways I hadn't heard in a minute. Okay. And it wasn't asking for no ice cream either. Okay. Not from a spoon.
You can't walk.
Listen, you say that we're gonna be honest. I love God.
Some things you can't walk off.
Hollering like, girl, you need to call him, because he knows how to put it down. That boy is gifted. And y'all still talk. Y'all still friends. You need to give him listen. You got options.
Come on.
You got options. Go ahead, make the call. He gonna come over. You set listen. I'm getting excited because y'all don't understand. The Lord, I'm telling you, the devil was like, go ahead, make the call. You got the options, girl. You can pick and choose which one they already know what you working with. They gonna come, and whatever you tell them to do, they gonna do it. They gonna ask no questions. Just they gonna come because you called them. I'm gonna help somebody get free today. I'm telling you, the enemy was like, you can call them. Just tell them to come over. They don't need to talk. They need to say, listen, I'm from these streets. I ain't always been toting the Bible and quoting scripture. Listen, I just need you to come and service me and go home. I don't need you to talk. Don't ask me how my day was. Take care of business and go home. And in that moment, I remember the Lord saying, agree with that. I said, yeah, I should. But what it took me to get out of that space, God, I love you today.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
How I had to fight to get my spirit man back in alignment. Yes. With my mental capacity to be able to stand before God and know that I was integral about my actions. I was like, yeah, devil, that you right. I could call him and he can do the do. That boy is gifted. The Lord carved him out in every aspect. But I ain't gonna do it. Because the work to get back to my space, I fought hard to get here, and it reminded me I still had the desire. I didn't lose it, but I made a decision. God, I love you. That it wasn't worth me going back to a place I had to fight so hard to get out. I'm just saying, let's tell the truth and shame the devil. We don't lose everything that God, because he made us sexual beings. He created us to recreate. He made sex good. He wrote a whole chapter of it in the Bible.
That's why I'm saying.
He was talking about her breasts and cysts and everything in the Bible. And y'all trying to get deep because y'all want to talk about it. But he made it because he said it was good.
Mm-hmm. But that's the point.
The woman, he said it was good because man should not be alone.
That's right.
So reproduce. Come on here. And we're going to talk about it. Let's talk about it. So if God is saying, I've created you to reproduce. I've created you to love. I've created you to grow. How are you going to ask God to take away the one thing that solidifies who you are as a creature? You made in his image. But y'all want to be deep. I don't told the Lord take it away. No, you stupid. That's why you're still single. I'm done.
Well, see, but this is why, Anitra, you ain't saying nothing else tonight. You keep setting off Dr. Indy. But that's my point. And this is why I was saying, that's why I said, if you need the teddy bear, get you a body pillow, whatever it is, because it is not worth, like you said, the work that it's going to take you to get back to where you left. All the work that you get, that temporary moment, you're going to make a bad decision in a temporary moment that you're going to regret in the morning. It feels good in this moment, but in the next, it's not. And then the work you have to do to gain that ground back, it's too much and it is never worth it. So get you a room full of teddy bears, get you 99 different body pillows and all type of colors and fabrics and whatever you got to do. You need something warm, get you one of them weighted blankets, find you something to help you hold yourself to keep your something that you worked hard to get your something. That's all I'm saying. We talk about being single in September because cupping season is coming, y'all. Made it through the summer. Fall is here. It's the setup for the winter time is coming. Prepare yourself. We don't want y'all to lose what you already worked so hard for. Don't let nobody curse your singleness. It is necessary. And trust me, we are not anti-marriage. What we want to do is make sure that in your singleness, you are preparing to be the best you that you can be so that when you get married, you are marrying the best version of somebody. Because when you show up as your best self, you will not accept less from anybody else. You'll be like, bro, you're going to have to take some time. Sis, you're going to need about 6 more. We're going to have to date about 6 more months. I need to see a bit more consistency from you in this area. I need to know that your change is not going to do a 180, but I need the 360. Or I need a hard 45-degree angle, but I need something. And I need it to be stable. We don't want temporary fixes. We want permanent changes so we can show up and being our best. So again, whether you're single or married, it is an amazing space to be in and you have to enjoy it. But either way, you have to show up whole. This has been great and amazing. And as we wrap it up, I have a question for the ladies on tonight. And then I am going to, hold on, I think we got another question happening here. Okay, no, we don't. All right, good. Because technology is technology in tonight. So, glad we got a few different options so I can share some comments if need be. Like, subscribe, and share all month long. We're going to be talking about single in September all month long. And you will see everybody from the Thursday Night Squad popping in and out. I can't wait till we get the men on and hear their tomfoolery and fire. And, I'm sorry, not tomfoolery. Y'all know how the men's lounge cut up. So I'm just saying, I don't know what we're going to get, but we're going to get something. But what I want to say to the ladies, though, question I want to ask as we wrap up the show on tonight, when it comes to singleness in this season, and as we've been talking about the different things, again, like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Go back, watch the replay. We hope that you are picking up the gems. We're gonna have to I'm gonna have just Dr. ND on one of these days. I'm just gonna bring her on, just let her go have at it. I am. We're just gonna have a me and you say it might have to be this month. We just might have to. We might. You know what? Might have to be just Dr. ND next Thursday. But y'all next Thursday, you come back next Thursday too, Anitra. Come on, y'all. We gonna do it. We gonna do part 2. Okay, we're gonna do part 2 next Thursday, y'all. All right, for real. It's gonna be Ladies Lounge, Ladies Room part 2.
You coming back? You gonna come back? You gonna come back? Yeah, you gonna come hang out?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Right.
All right, so y'all getting us back to back in September because this is some good stuff. We starting it on tonight, and we're gonna add to it again next Thursday. But I want to ask this question. As we're talking about all these aspects of singleness, it not being the disease, marriage not being the cure, dealing with our stuff and being honest with our stuff, being real about it, being knowing the difference of the healthy things that we have to go through, the uncomfortable spaces we have to go through in order to get to the healthy spaces that we need to be in. It all gets us to a place of, I believe we should all be showing up secure in our singleness. When you are secure in your singleness, you are anchored. And I think that that's when you are really ready to bring someone else into your life and to be a part of someone else's life. So I want to ask you, ladies, when it comes to being secure in your singleness, what does it take to get there? Whichever one of you want to start.
I know you're not pointing at me, Dr. Indy.
I think she's pointing at you, Ken.
All right. So to get secure,
give us 2 things. Give us 2 things that people need to get them started in the space of being secure in their singleness. Go ahead.
The first thing is, I mean, we said already, is to be honest. I call it introspection. You have to evaluate the inside of you. You have to be, nobody's around. It can be you and God or whatever, your moral compass is, but you looking at you for who you really, really are. Like truly looking at yourself, truly looking at some things that, when you reflect over your life, what you did. As women, a lot of times we like to play the victim when we set things in motion ourselves. We set certain things in motion and then we want to play the victim later. But ask yourself, what role did I play in breaking my own heart? What role did I play in that?
There you go.
What role did I do? How did I cause? Because there was something that led to that. What did I do? Because I am the only person I can control. So what did I allow or not allow? What did I do or did not do? Did I stand up for myself or did I back down? But looking at yourself, and it's ugly. Because I'm honestly, you got to be ready to look at yourself, and it can be ugly. You may have to take little doses of yourself, weeks at a time, just a little bit. Take one area and then you deal with the next. But honestly, evaluate your mind and your thoughts, your motives for doing what you do, saying what you say, thinking the way you think. Sometimes we've been raised in a certain way and culture to think that it's not conducive to where we are or where we're going. So you have to really look at that. So I would say introspection is a daily thing for me. I ask myself in the morning, who are you showing up as? Who are you? Are you pretending? Are you a counterfeit? Or are you going to be your true, authentic self? And you can be your true, authentic self and be in different spaces. You don't have to switch up. You know how to carry yourself in different rooms, but Am I going to bring Anitra to the table, or I'm going to hide her and bring the little scared girl? So for me, it's looking at yourself, truly looking at yourself. Not that makeup. I got on makeup, now I'm looking at that. No, take it off, move the filters, look at your nakedness and what you got. Deal with it.
That's good by Ken. Introspection and honesty. Come on, Dr. ND. Give the people 2 things to help them to be secure in their singleness.
Well, I'm going to definitely piggyback off my sister. She said honesty, but I think it's the other one is vulnerability. Being honest and vulnerable in the midst of, because sometimes we don't understand that being really honest means that you're being vulnerable. Vulnerable to whatever you're going to find out, which requires you to be vocal about your vulnerability in your honesty, being honest and vocal about the fact that you are not in that space. You can't navigate that space. You don't know how to navigate that space. You need help with that space, or you got it together, and knowing when you need a moment to regroup, where you need to retreat and be like, I need to process this. Because as you are in that secure space, relationships and conversations are very different, because you're showing up different, and you have to be able to identify the truth from a lie and still show up, because you don't want to dismiss, but you want to be in this, you want to be more present for the moment that you are in. So being honest that, yeah, this may not be work. Like, I don't waste a lot of time in conversations. I've had quite a few men who have been interested, but their language betrayed them. You're okay as a colleague, but you're not okay as a partner. And I think of me being honest and vulnerable in that moment allows me to not waste time in a dead space, because I don't have time to cultivate the land for something to grow. I'm only supposed to come and plant. I am not supposed to cultivate the land. Hey, that'll preach right there. Come on.
That will preach.
It's not my responsibility to cultivate. It is my responsibility to come and add, to grow to a space that's already cultivated. So if I'm showing up in my honesty and I'm telling you up front what some of my vulnerabilities are that I may still be struggling with, or I'm on the cusp of overcoming it, and I'm looking at where I'm ready to plant my seed and the ground is not tilled, I'm not wasting my time. So I don't need that, because I'm showing up in my authenticity. That's the word to cover it all. I'm showing up in my authenticity, my authentic self. I'm coming in like, listen, I don't like it. I just ended. I'm trying to be, because I don't want to waste time. When you get 50 and over, I don't got time for petty conversations. Let's talk about let's come to the table like adults and let's have the conversation. Tell me what it is. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you're looking for. Tell me what you desire. Tell me what your dreams are. I want to know, because if there is no correlation that we can walk hand in hand, and we may be side by side and we're heading to the right destination, somewhere along the right way on the fork on the road, if we're not going the same way, we're going to turn. Before we get to the fork in the road, I need to know if I'm going to continue this journey or if I'm going to turn left.
Right.
Because I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste mine, because I cultivated this space of being whole. I'm working on, and I'm still working on, because along the way there may be something that's going to come up that I did not identify with at that time, because I wasn't mature enough to handle the responsibility that went with fixing it. But now I can, and you may be a part of that unveiling. Can I trust that you're going to help me navigate that space and not leave me and judge me while I'm trying to fix a piece of me that needs to be refined and maybe glued or fixed or even removed and replaced? Can I trust you as I'm sowing into the land? Can I trust you to cultivate it so it can grow?
I like it.
That's good. That's good. I love it all. So what we're hearing in our wrap up about how can we be secure in our singleness. We shared about introspection and honesty, being vulnerable and being vocal. And I would just add to that, for me, two of the things that I've learned how to be that are foundational for me being secure in my singleness. It all is inward, which is self-acceptance. But actually, I'm going to say first, self-awareness. I had to become aware of who I am, of what I like, what I don't like, what my capacity is, how flexible am I. I don't want to, necessarily talk about what are deal breakers and all of those things with someone else. What's a deal breaker for me? What's my own deal breaker? What is the deal breaker concerning me? What am I willing to bend on with myself, and what am I not willing to compromise when it comes to myself? I have to be self-aware of my boundaries, and with that then comes self-acceptance, accepting these things that I'm now putting as a standard for me in order to be secure in who I am as a single person, so that my core can be good and strong, and I can remain standing strong, 10 toes down in who I am, regardless as to who comes and goes. You don't have to like every bit of me. You have to respect all of me, though. And when I'm in that space, then that is key for me in being secure in my singleness. So I want to thank you all tonight for sharing in this great conversation, for kicking off the fall season. Listen, single in September, it hit my heart so hard. I don't want y'all to be caught up on the okie doke. That's the whole thing. I don't want you to get caught up in the moment. Don't make a permanent decision based off of a temporary feeling. I don't want nobody. Cuffing season is coming, y'all, and it's real. And for those of you who don't know what that is, a real thing. Cuffing season refers to a period of time where single people begin looking for short-term partnerships to pass colder months of the year. Cuffing season usually begins in October and lasts just after Valentine's Day. That's why when that Valentine's Day candy be going on sale, that's why. Listen, some people are only good, but watch the season, because this is the time where people are starting to look for short-term partnerships, and you won't know the difference because they're going to be approaching you as if they're looking for the longevity of a relationship. But that's not the case. And we don't want you to be caught out there in the okie doke. We want you to be secure in your singleness. So be prepared. To September is going to be some building up. Okay, being secure in your singleness. Singleness is not a disease, and marriage is not a cure. Again, I would just say in my ending comments is simply this: don't get caught up with being chosen. And don't get so caught up with being chosen that you forget to choose yourself first, and that you settle for a warm body instead of settling for a satisfied soul. That is my final comment on tonight. This is part 1. Hey, join us next Thursday for part 2 of Single in September. Singleness is not a disease, and marriage is not a cure. I want to thank the ladies for being here on tonight and sharing in the ladies' room. We're sorry Lady Deshawn fell off. Hopefully she'll be back on with us next week. Hopefully the internet will let her be great and everybody will be good. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. All our regulars, like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you back here on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to tune in on Monday nights to Monday Beyond the Mic with Coach Pache and Dr. Elaine Saunders. Don't forget to tune into everything that you see Pastor Sheila doing, whether here or across the street on the Sheila Ingram Ministries channel. September's going to be dope. We got the men coming. We got the ladies coming back. We're going to make sure that y'all are prepared for October. Don't get caught out there. Don't say we didn't warn you. And don't go showing up unprepared. See you guys next week. Hang out with me a minute, ladies.
You ain't with the news on the block.
Let me clear my throat. That's better. That's better. Somebody pass around the offering. Since I'm always preaching on tracks, you feel me? I'm out here getting paid for it. Sermon of the day. You right where you supposed to be, baby. Informants informing, that information forming. Important you get a portion of fortune pouring. Confession, fortunately, blessings on now they snoring. You mellow, so focused on scoring. Got you underperforming. I never expect something, never assume nothing. Judging me for my past, but that's why I'm triumphant. I don't demand, I know where I stand like engineer hands. Watch how my life pans. Cut that game plan. Show out like a jotter. Pop out like a cutter. Telling the quick rock, skipping the course, square like hopscotch. This gonna be my mood to my beat drop. Putting my boogie shoes in my diddy boots. Ain't don't stop. I'ma make the rest of my life live.